We are back. NBA Top Shot Takes, or as Greg would say, Top Hot Takes. We have a special guest. This is our first ever guest. This is a pretty big deal. We have a guest. Dustin, thank you so much for hanging today.
I am here. I'm happy. I'm excited. Thanks for having me. Big fan of the show.
Wow.
Also, a big fan of all things Dunbar. So that's great. Excited to be here to chat. I think you guys are doing awesome stuff. And I want to just sort of give my take.
What buy or pack that you opened have you like most excited about? Like what moment are you most excited about that you have?
There's definitely a moment that I bought that I'm excited to have. I'll get to that after. But in terms of packs, I pulled some low cereals. I got like a Zach LaVine kind of 3 step back. I think it was in the it was like top 20. It was like 18 or something like. It was like a really low cereal that I was pretty stoked about. And I'm a Bruin guy, so Zach's awesome, and I've been following his career for a very long time. So I'm excited that he's popping off this year.
Yeah.
In terms of moments that I've bought, there's one. I'll talk about another one that I would really love to get, but I'm gonna watch the market price on it. But I bought the Luka game-winning 3 against the Clippers in the bubble. So obviously, being a Laker fan, it's a nice little dig towards Clipper fans. But it's just, I remember that moment. It's big, like it's playoffs. It was a unique season, right? And that 3 was just money, and almost catapulted Luka to just be like, this dude is like top 5, I guess, and was like a huge moment. And I think that a ton of NBA fans will remember. So that was one that I bought. The price is sort of fluctuated, but it's a low edition. It's an LE. It's something that I think people remember. And Luka is just, I think, still the sky's the limit for that guy. I'm hoping he gets a ring at some point, but that's one I'm happy I own. There's another moment that Greg also purchased, which is LeBron. I don't think you can go wrong with anything LeBron, regardless of what the cereal is. But it's the no look 3, right?
It's so
another
cool.
moment, so cool. Every highlight, every Instagram basketball account you follow posted it. Like it's just one that everyone remembers, and I think is going to be one that people are going to want down the line. I got a pretty decent cereal on that, so I'm happy about it. Greg snatched up a couple of those, I think, right?
I'm up to 3 actually.
Dunbar's style of collecting is so fun, right? I'm like trying to find one specific moment of like certain players. I'm like, I need a Jokic, I need an Embiid. Greg's like, I'm gonna zero in on 2 or 3 players, and I'm gonna get 50 or 60 of those moments.
Yeah, that is Greg for sure.
Listen, quantity over quality. Quantity over quality.
He's definitely sent me some guys where he's like, I bought a bunch of these, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how that goes. All right. I'm just happy that he's engaging with it.
Yeah, Greg's like, if Daniel Tice has a really good second half of his career, I'm retiring by 35.
Low risk.
He's on the Dogecoin. He's on the Dogecoin train, right? That's what he's doing.
Hey, I can't make fun of that. We might be on that same train right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely, and I've talked about this. Sort of my, I guess, Top Shot take is moments, right? The thing is called moments, right? So I am trying to get I'm also playing the field a little bit like with Greg and getting some different things that I feel like this is a good player, it's a cool moment, and it's probably only 1 or 2 that exist for that player. So I think it's good to have, and it's series 1, any of that stuff is just really great. But moments, right? Like that Luka one, the LeBron one I talked about. I'm like I think the Vince Carter moment is super cool. I do think there's going to be a lot of fans of I'm a little bit older than you guys, my age, that are coming in and they've got some money to play with, right? They're going to do it. They grew up watching Vince, and that's his moment. They're going to say, that's cool, I want it. And people that have like big bucks are just going to continue to come in even more so than now and say, I want those Vince Carter moments, right? They're going to snatch that stuff up. I think moments are something to remember and realize. So I don't think I talked about the other moment that I have my eye on that I'm going to sort of see how the price is. I do think it's probably at an okay price right now. It's just pretty high to say for me, right? But it's the LeBron dunk that was emulating Kobe Bryant about a month after his passing, and I think that is a really cool moment to have. LE of 1,000, very limited group of people are going to have this, and it's like a month basically after Kobe's passing, and I'm a Kobe guy, obviously, and it's just an iconic representation of the dunk that Kobe did, and it's a really cool moment. Like, to me, spending, the lowest available right now, we'll save it so we can have a time capsule of it, right, is $7,800 for 909 out of 1,000, which is like not the worst investment I don't think you can make. It's not that high, but we may be talking that's like a $25,000 moment in like 4 months, 5 months. I don't know.
Right. I know. And that's one of those things too, where LeBron specifically, this moment specifically, I don't think it ever gets lower than that. Yeah. Right. Like I don't see, I mean, unless Top Shot like completely fails, that I think is like the floor. It's only going up from that. I think that's such an interesting conversation too, because I know we talked about it when we opened the Hollow Pack last week, the Tobias Harris, where we like, cool, we got Tobias Harris pass to Tyrese Maxey. Like, and that's not a very sexy, exciting moment. I mean, Tyrese Maxey's in it. That's actually what's funny about that is right. The coolest part of the moment is the other dude in it. Like, it's not even Tobias Harris, but it's one of those things where like there's only 100 of them, right? So like that value, I think, will always still be there. But when you take a look at like Anthony Davis's moment in that same pack or Steph Curry's, the moment's more impressive. And so I do think you're right. Like the moment catapults the value. I think the player's name obviously is always going to help. Like if so-and-so is going to make the Hall of Fame, there's always going to be like a floor there for value. Totally. But when you see like an incredible dunk, or like Luka's is a great point. I wish I had purchased that because that was cheap for a little bit. But that Luka game-winning 3, I mean, that was such an iconic moment in like a crazy ass time in the world too, right? Like in the bubble, it's just like Clippers team that's falling apart, Luka ascending. Like that was such an incredible moment. Speaking of which, I also bought the bubble footage, and this was a conversation I had with Greg. Was like, I think bubble footage is gonna be something that's really cool. If you think about it, if this continues and Top Shot is a thing for many years to come, which we all hope, 7 years from now, bubble footage is going to be so cool because it's going to be a thing of the past, right? We hope, right? It's going to be a thing of the past. And to have that stuff is just going to be awesome. So another moment I bought that I was pretty stoked about was the Kawhi Leonard block on Jamal Murray, where he gets it with his fingertips, right? And it's bubble footage. And I sent it to my buddy who's a diehard Clipper fan. And I was like, this is a cool moment if you want to buy, like, it wasn't too crazy expensive. It's still like relatively affordable, all things considered. And it's a cool moment. And he was like, I don't want anything to do with that moment. It's like a bad memory because we blew that series. And I didn't think about it that way. That's funny. But for me, I was like, I remember that moment. It was such an insane block. Cool players, bubble, like all that thing, I think is a very memorable playoffs. And it's a really cool moment. It's Kawhi, all that stuff. But he was like, no, I want nothing to do with that series or any of that, which I thought was funny.
Well, but when he told me, I went out and bought 9 Daniel Tice bubble footage moments. To the moon, baby. To the moon.
I will say, bubble footage. It helps. I think it helps.
But think about it. Like all the moments, hopefully moving forward, say next season, are all going to have fans in the background. And this is a whole group of moments, except for like the throwbacks or the run it back, whatever they call it. None of them will have fans in it. I think that I wonder what that will do to the value of those things later in life. But I think the moment things are, and we have talked about this a little bit. The cooler the moment, like I'd write Derrick Jones Jr. makes a sick block versus Jokic hitting an 18-footer. Right?
I have a Derrick Jones Jr. block. That was I think it was a Cool Cats moment. Yeah. And it was a pack pull. So it was a Derrick Jones Jr. block on LeBron. It was like 999 serial, which I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. It's a little bit cooler. And, he's just like fun to watch. He's like a cool player. I don't know that he's going to be a to the moon guy, but it's a cool thing. At least he's blocking LeBron versus blocking like KCP. Like, I think it just ups the value still. That's the value of the moment, right? Who's in it? What's happening? Where was it? All of that stuff.
And so, and I don't think that has evened itself out in the market yet. Like, I think we'll learn as time goes on, like, oh yeah, the block on LeBron, like a block on LeBron is worth more than a block on KCP, like you said.
I think, there's a lot of new collectors. It's a new thing. So people are just jumping to say like, LaMelos or Wiseman. And I think those are still good. Like I'm obviously I'm a Laker guy. I was a huge Lonzo guy at UCLA. So I'm a fan of LaMelo too. I do think he has a better trajectory probably at this point than Lonzo, but like, I think there's going to be maybe more moments that come out that still get the rookie badge that are probably going to be a little bit cooler and maybe more desirable than Gordon Hayward's jump shot. I don't know.
I feel bad that that's their first moment. Like that's the one the NBA picked. Like, can't we?
I think technically, I could be wrong, but I think technically it might be his first assist, which is why that was chosen. So if you're getting his first assist, cool. But maybe if you get his first step back 3 or you get his first like dunk. Maybe that's going to be cooler, I don't know.
I would think so.
Did he not have points in that game?
No, I'm sure he scored. He didn't go like 0 for 11. Yeah, I'm sure he scored a bucket.
That's the weirdest choice. I mean, maybe that was the first thing on the stat sheet for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm not jumping for joy for that right now. We'll see.
Yeah. I know. And the market went wild with that. Like the cheapest LaMelo you can get right now is like $800. I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
He's playing great. I'm happy
is.
for him, and it's cool. I agree. I just wish it was a better moment for me to get
Yeah.
excited about. I think something a little bit cooler would just skyrocket. It'd already be over 1,000 if it was a cooler play.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
How good does it feel to have another NBA fan on the show for one?
I gotta say, it is nice not trying to think of what baseball players.